Every year, I seem to acquire a little water in here. And I get ice crystal-y things in my fuel filter at some point in the winter. I just checked with a plastic cup. It doesn't look like there's really much for water in there, but just letting it drip. I tightened up the top. I originally thought it was getting in from my fuel tank in the truck, but I've drained that and there ain't one bead of water in that. It doesn't get in from there. So then I discovered that the little stub filler pipe on here that's hosed to the top of that tank kind of got a flare in it, and the water was still not the tightest thing. I need to get a new hose for it and clamp it on good. I think that'd solve that problem, but it's one of those things that isn't that big a deal. It keeps getting forgot about until you're feeding in January and it's running bad. So 50 degrees out this morning. Got down to 29 last night about 8 o'clock, and then it's done nothing but go up since then. So it's pretty good south breeze. I'm gonna wiggle that petcock around a little bit and see if I get it to drain faster. Well, not really a whole lot faster. There's probably a little sludge in there. It actually looks like it's running pretty much clean fuel now. I'll go check it with my little cup again and see if there's any water. But probably not. Probably call that good, and then I gotta look if I got a filter or not. If I put a new filter on it now, I'm usually good for the winter. All right, take a look at this Redneck Engineering. When I unloaded those heifers, one stayed here. I have to get her on video. Like I said, she ain't the friendliest thing. She wants to hide. The other two that went to the sale barn, they loaded and unloaded slightly poorly, so when I reloaded them, we used the 40, which I figured between, well, I know what the bear crawler is, and by the time you put the blade on it, my little cage there and the mud, some other odds and ends, I don't think they'll move about 5,000 pounds. I figure it weighs with all the additions, so I don't think they can move that. So we got to get this out of here. Manny can cut those twines off everything. And just didn't want to start real great last time. I think I need a change of plugs. They have been sitting forever too. So here, I'll put you down here. We'll see if it starts. I'll probably push up the manure pile. We'll zoom you out. There we go. Let's see if it starts. No, it doesn't. It didn't run long enough to charge up, I guess. Good thing it's warm. All right, well, we'll get this going and I think I'll park it somewhere I can let it trickle a good charge on it. Entirely right. Pretty sure I got a bowling plug. Okay, well that probably didn't run long enough to start here, but that maybe we can do something about that screechy belt when we bring it in the garage. I'm gonna shovel the tracks. Some work has to be done on here. The biggest thing is I gotta see what's with that left-hand steer clutch. It's certainly not slipping, it's locked right solid. I can't, I can come all the way back with the lever and get up against the brake and just about stall it, but yeah, it'd be a lot easier to get that stuff out than when it's frozen. So I don't know, maybe I'm hoping I just need a adjustment on the throwout bearing. That isn't too tough of a job. We'll get the covers off and peek in there, and that'll be a while yet, but we'll see. Well, me and Maddie continued our straightening up project around here for a while. And I call the parts store. Auto Value's pretty good at, they actually always have these things. So, see the crud line? Ain't that nice, eh? That's what I'm talking about. So, the beauty part of this is it runs down a starter, but that's alright. I'll get that bowl off of there. Like 55 degrees now, so it's a lot better than doing this when the tractor starts sputtering at 20 below and I gotta feed cows after work some nights. So I'll just swap that filter out and prime it up and get it running. And I got both of these run down pretty low for fuel, so maybe after work tomorrow I'll go get a tank of winter blend, fill this one up, and if I fill this tank up I won't have to look at it till next spring, especially when I'm not plowing now. Winters without a lot of snow I could usually plow and feed the cows. I wouldn't have to put fuel in it till like March, but running a blower on a 4230, pretty much all this does is feed cows, so I'll get this done. Well, we might as well film if, see if I get any leaks here. that fuel looks a little better than that crud that was in the bowl. My finger is going to get hard of pumping here. I didn't put that lever in the most convenient place. Probably more exciting things on YouTube than watching air bubbles in a sediment bowl, but this would be a lot better without this loader bracket in my way. Should be close to full. There we go, we're getting some out the top. Yeah, we'll close that, we'll give it a couple of pumps here. Open a little air vent. Thing's never been too hard to get started after. Especially at this temperature. Well, there's that. Got some brake clean. Chase it out the bottom there. Gonna drip in a bucket. Well, that's drying off pretty fast. Should we see if it starts? We'll do a warm start video after the filter change here. Well, there we go. That's good. Put the panel back on and see what else we can do. Well, the check plug for the gearbox on this blower is Allen head plug, and it is completely stripped. Pretty ugly. So you can just about see where it is halfway up that box, looking in there at the gear. I put a few pumps in it and I see the oil in there, so we're gonna call that good. It's a fraction over full, if anything. Should be just fine. It's not that high. There's not really that many grease points on here. I pulled the drawbar in. I've already killed the plastic guard, but it's not too bad. Oh, there's my grease pump. Auction find. Or my gear lube pump. Yeah, 3 of those. They work really nicely. Got that little 1/8-inch pipe on end. It'll go in just about anything. It's greasy as all heck, but the inside's alright, so. It beats trying to squirt it in with bottles, I can tell you that much. Well, I probably should start this tractor, spin this over and spray some chain lube. I'm going to put this stuff on, we'll see if we can get running here. That's a little better than last time. Same can, just needed a little adjustment. Oh yeah, that's slopping around on there nicely. Well, we'll shut that off and we'll get that welded on chain there for turning the blower, and put some lube on that plate that it turns on. Very much you can do with that, but well, I'll get the other can and I'll hit that. It is dead now. Well, this is about the brightest thing here. You gotta take that, you can take all 4 bolts out of the adjust. Let me get on that for you. Out of the adjustment this way to tighten that one. I've been flopping around back here, so I figured I'd straighten that out, but it's slightly more involved than what I expected. But we'll have bright lights when we come home in the endless darkness of winter. We can blow snow after work. So I explained this blower when I made the first video of it, which was way back when I first started making videos. I had a few up before then, but this is 8th, 10th video, something like that. So this is 9-foot, 108-inch Schweiss blower made here in Minnesota. I actually bought it from a guy by the name of Schweiss. He is grandnephew or something of the guy that originally started the company, works with me. So he brought it up. They had a few around the farm and whatever, and he brought this up for a guy that wanted one. And guy never came through with picking it up, so it sat at his place for a couple of years before I got it. So, but it's plenty big blower, works good on that tractor. But I don't think I'd want one any bigger. It's awful heavy. It'd be nice to put a loader on it this winter time for some weight up front, or to actually put some weights on it. But I'm thinking about finding a loader for this tractor. It'd be a lot nicer to load manure with this. 2520 wouldn't have to take such a beating. Get something bigger. I don't know what the next size Westendorf. I like those Westendorfs. They're easy to get on and off, and if I found a decent John Deere loader to put on here, I guess I would do that too. But other than your mounts, you don't have anything hanging out on the front end of it. Well, I don't know how much video I got here today putzing around, but quite a bit. Little things like changing filters and fixing lights and whatever that makes it's a whole lot nicer at this temperature than it is when it's cold out. And since this tractor doesn't fit in the garage, I have no option. 2520 fits in the garage if I got to work on that. In fact, it's about time for... Cody's been doing some cleaning in there. Could use some more, but time to get those in where they belong for the winter, so I don't have to brush snow off everything when I go to feed cows. Alright, well, thanks for watching, and good to see y'all here. We hit 800 subscribers. That is absolutely fantastic. So we'll see you on the next one.